Today is finally the day that I have been waiting for like 6 months. Today is the freaking day that I will be getting my new editing rig. Damn yeah. So the story goes as follows. Last December I bought myself my beloved i9-12900K, and I've been waiting since December to put it to good use, but I was not able to. Not that I didn't have the motherboard, because I had it also from December. The problem was the freaking GPU. I still had my 2080 Ti, which is right now in my now old editing rig here, and I didn't want to repurpose it. I wanted to go for a 3090. However, the prices for 3090s were... Yes, I decided back then to go for the 12900 and wait, and just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until the freaking prices dropped. Then they finally dropped. I had my finger on the buying button of a 3090 Ti, I think it was a Strix, and suddenly I get a notification that the first reviews for a 3090 Ti came out. Naturally, I immediately stopped clicking that freaking button, and I waited another couple of weeks until a 3090 Ti came out here in Europe, and I was able to purchase it. And as you've seen the video a couple of months or weeks, or I don't know when it came out, but as you have seen in the video, I have my RTX 3090 Ti TUF. Beautiful, just beautiful. Now, having every component that I need, I can finally build it. So the premise for this video, as it is my new editing rig or my new working rig, is to just go all in. No limit, take the best that is available and just slap it into a single build. Naturally, I went with the 12900K because at the time of purchase it was the very best editing CPU, and it is one of the best. I don't know if the KS is better, but the 15900X is definitely not. I believe it is still the best, or like the top two. So still very, very good. For the GPU, although I do realize that a 3090 is not, a 3090 Ti is not very necessary for editing, I still believe that it was a good idea to go with the very best that was available, based on the fact that I'm running three 4K monitors and I'm thinking about adding a fourth, which already now with my 2080 Ti sometimes became somewhat of a lagging issue. With this, I should be good. This should be working very, very well. And as I said, this is a no limits PC, so no limits for me. For the motherboard, you've seen it a couple of times on the channel. It's still the Asus Z690. I will not pronounce the whole name. It is insane. Who is naming these things? For the RAM, I also made a new purchase. I got myself 4 sticks of TUF RAM, RGB, a 3600 MHz kit, a total of 64 gigs. Now, I could have been going higher, and I could have also gone for DDR5, though other motherboard in that case, but I didn't do so because DDR5 is basically unpurchasable here in Europe. And having motherboards too, like I have not seen one until today, and I will probably see one maybe at the end of the year, but not for now, and I'm fine with that. But that's the reason why DDR4. Then for drives, I also did a little upgrade. First of all, we will repurpose one of my 512 gig M.2 970 Pros from my old editing rig as the boot drive, because I don't need a big boot drive. I don't install anything on it except for Premiere Pro and the whole Adobe suite and an email program, and maybe Minecraft. So I really don't need a lot of storage there. However, as the secondary disk where I'm working on, I realized during the last year that having 1 terabyte is not enough. So I went with a 2 terabytes 980 Pro. It's PCIe Gen 4. It's quick, it's good, it's amazing. Then for the power supply, we'll be using that Be Quiet Pure Power 1000 watts, because we need 1000 watts for the GPU. And the power supply is fine. I don't need anything bigger. Then for cables, I also got a special surprise. First of all, we will go with that blue Cablemod cable that I got, the custom one that I got a couple of months prior, because it's still beautiful and it is my editing rig. And so it's gonna be blue and black and white, a lot of white. But we will talk about the color scheme later. However, I got something new. Cablemod sent along one of those octopus cables, but it is ending in one of those NVIDIA 16-pin ones. So no 3 cables, no octopus extension, whatever, 3-to-1 splitter, one beautiful cable to power the GPU, and it will look freaking beautiful. Now, I wanted to record this video like 2 hours ago, but I spent at least an hour and a half just looking at what will I be using as like a color scheme components. I wanted to do water cooling. However, you need to understand that I'm not building like my editing rig right now. I'm building the editing rig V1. Why am I doing this? Because I don't have the water cooling equipment yet. I will get one of those Fantex water blocks for the 3090 Ti TUF. However, it is not out yet. It will take a month, maybe 2, until it arrives here. However, I have all of that gear lying around and it is doing basically nothing except for being used for B-rolls, and I don't think it's a good use for a 3090 or a 12900K to be used like that. Especially because I'm still editing on my 9900K, and no, I have a 12900K running, just lying there, waiting for me. No, I'm using it now. So I'm building a editing rig V1, which in a couple of months will be rebuilt as a full hardline water-cooled monster transformer PC. But for now, we need to just focus on getting the thing running. First of all, the case. As we are going with the white Asus board, we will already use the Evolve X from Fantex in white because it was always the plan to use that one in the end. However, because I do not have the water block nor anything else, we will need to cool the CPU somehow. I did not want, however, to go with something like an air cooler because a 12900K is really freaking hot. So I wanted to go water cooled. However, I did not want to go with something like an Arctic liquid freezer because it would really not fit into the design of the whole thing. So what I decided to do is stay with the whole Fantex scheme and go for the Glacier 360 MP, the Glacier 1 360 MP, which is pretty freaking dusty considering it was lying in the shelf for about a year. The issue with this water cooler is I do not like the fans. Those are crazy fast, crazy loud, crazy good, way too good for this radiator. It is no good use on here. Therefore, I decided to exchange the existing fans for Fantex T30s because those are the best radiator fans available right now. And plus, the color is going very well with the GPU. So we will now be having a black and white and gray and gray color scheme, and as the highlight color we will have the blue. Nice, and it is an Intel build, which is blue. I make sense. For the rest of the fans, I decided not to go full on RGB because I'm not insane, or not that insane. I will be putting 3 of my Arctic Bionics P140s in the front, and then I will be putting 1 of my Arctic Bionics F140s in the back as exhaust. Everything always in the color scheme. The front ones we have the black, which is always there, and the gray, which is going with the Fantex fans. And in the back we are having the black color of the Arctic fans and the white outline as the motherboard is white. Everything makes so much sense. Okay, explanation done. I did a little bit of calculation. And the T30 is going for 8550, Glacier 1 is going for 163.86, Evolve is 220.82, Asus is 356.25, TUF RAM are twice 247.90, the 3090 Ti is 2159 euros, and all of that totals us at 4,770 euros and 94 cents. Or, because the YouTube algorithm god favors whole numbers, the 5,000 euro no limit editing PC. That was a 10-minute intro. How the hell will I make this video just 10 minutes? Okay, with everything said and done, let's finally give me a new editing rig. This case is so freaking heavy. The closer I get to finishing this build, the more excited I get. I feel like a little 16-year-old boy having his first like real gaming PC in his life. Which Now that I'm saying it, I realize that no matter how old I get, I'm still enjoying this process so freaking much. And I think my mainboard is right now getting a little heart attack, because usually I'm putting like 3 screws in, because it's like the builds are usually just built for like 10 minutes. I do the B-rolls, I do the benchmarks, 10 minutes, for a couple of hours. I do the B-rolls, I do the benchmarks, and then I take them apart, and that's basically the whole process. So I never put more than 3 or 4 screws just to keep the motherboard in place. However, this time I'm putting all the screws, like a big boy. Yeah! Let's put in the radiator, because now we need to find out if the tubes are long enough to put that thing in the front, and I believe they are not, but I wanted to double check that. And they are not. So I will not be able to put the radiator in the front. I can with the tubes up. But then I will hear all of that shit in the comments again. Like, oh no, don't put the tubes up. No, there is a bit of tube going up. Oh no. And if I put the radiator in the top, I will have all of the people yelling, no, don't put the radiator top. I saw Gamers Nexus video and I didn't understand it. So now I'll be bitching on somebody else's YouTube channel. So, the tubes are not long enough to put the radiator in the front with tubes down. Possibility 1, I will put it in the front, tubes up, which will lead to bitching. Possibility 2, I will put it in the top, which will lead to more bitching, because then people will tell me that the tubes should be going down, which is physically impossible for this particular AIO in this particular build. So no matter what I do, I will get a bunch of little kids yelling in my comment section. So screw them, and I'm putting it in the top. Well, I do not yet know about the color scheme, but this definitely looks like performance. I don't know if I praised that thing enough, but especially for fans, this thing is a freaking lifesaver. Like, there is one part of building a fully fledged rig, like, you know, 5-6 fans, like an amazing PC, where you have an amazing amount of fans. The only not enjoyable part of all of that is usually fan screwing. Like, those little screws are really freaking annoying. And having a screwdriver like those Hodo things that we did a mini review on is such a freaking lifesaver. Oh, we are close to done. It's not a lot. That has to be... No. Really expensive PC, no falling please. So we are almost done. It's like a couple of steps left and I will finally have that damn PC ready for me. Oh, if anybody is wondering why I'm sweating as a dog in here, it's like 28 degrees outside. And I have like those electric like curtains, those plastic things down because of the lighting. Because otherwise I will have my face straight up in the sun, and that is not a good idea. So in here is probably something along the lines of 26 degrees C, and I'm working. So if my forehead is wet, that's why. It's just way too hot in here. Something else is pretty freaking cool. You have the Tentex cover on basically every Tentex case that they do, and usually it doesn't look like particularly good because you cram in like 3 or 2 cables in there, but now we have 1 cable. It's going to be clean. It's going to be so freaking clean today. For once in a very long time, we are going to build one hell of a clean PC. As I was speaking, my camera made that beep beep sound that it usually does when it's saying fuck you, I'm working 9 to 5 and it is after 5 o'clock. Apparently cameras can overheat, and mine just did, and it has some sort of overheating protection. It's shutting off when a set temperature is reached, which we apparently did reach. So things I've learned today. Because it took a couple of minutes to realize what was happening, I'm close to done with the PC, but thankfully I did not skip the most important step, the flex step, the 3090 Ti step. Heck yeah. And you can also see what I was referring to before, like you have that hole here, and usually you have like 3 cables coming out, which looks hella stuffed. But now, because we just have 1 cable left, it just looks freaking clean. It's like Fantex knew what would happen and they prepared the hole exactly according to how it was going to be. It looks amazing. I guess this was the last step, which means that now I can hook this up, and it is time for So, as it usually is in life, before you can enjoy something, God makes you bleed, and thunder comes down, and the world just doesn't want to see you happy. So, as you might have seen in the B-roll section, the fans that were in the front are no longer in the front. Now we have my good old friend, Be Quiet Silent Wing 3 140s, the slow one, the 1000 RPM ones. Why did I do so? Well, when I first started up the PC, it started to do like grinding noises, like tack, 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 tack. Those are not noises that you want to have inside your PC. So I started investigating, and as it turns out, which one was it? Not this one? This one, it's this one. As it turns out, back then when I had I don't even remember the video where I did that B-roll shot of every Arctic fan lined up in a row. I had that little, let's call it accident. I had an accident where I knocked everything over. Everything started to go crazy, and fan blades spinning at 2000 RPM were hitting each other. It was crazy. I was even hit in my hand, and I had one broken Arctic Bionics F140 fan. Very sad, I was annoyed, but I glued it together for the video so I could do the rest of the B-roll. Something that I did not know at the time is that one of my Bionics P140s also suffered the same fate, just that the wing did not crack away, but it just got a little crack. And now I can see it very clearly, and when I let the fan spin at 100% or let the fan spin at all, the crack starts to become bigger and the bottom part of the blade starts to touch the frame. And then I decided to just go with the Be Quiet Silent fans, because those are also very good fans, and yeah, I mean, screw the gray color scheme, it happened. So I put those in. Then I realized the front ones are spinning at 1000 RPM and the back one at way more, and the back one is significantly louder. Like those Be Quiet Silent wings, they are dead silent. Those are dead silent fans. So I will ramp them up to basically 80% all the time, because you cannot hear them at all. And they provide a lot of just like free air. The problem is, using the fan controller, the back fan would then start to scream and annoy me. So I decided to unhook it and connect it to a different header so that I can, control them separately. At that moment, the PC was still running, mind you. I'm not a very careful person when it comes to these things. Naturally, what happened is I got my hand into the fan, or one fan blade. Got my hand. Well, I can't say that I'm like hurt, but where is the piece? Let's say I'm shocked that I managed to destroy a total of 3 Arctic Bionics fans, Arctic Bionics 140 fans. Even with all of those mistakes, which frankly, some of them are my fault, and all of the other just, bad lucks, nothing will stop me from enjoying this. Look at this editing performance, look at this exporting speed, just look at how they compare. Oh, what a treat. And even gaming. Of course I did a couple of gaming benchmarks, however it doesn't make particularly a lot of sense because we had a bunch of PCs that were running like the exact same hardware as here, so I mean it's basically the same thing all over again. However, this time we have like the TUF RAM in there, which is a bit quicker than we usually do. We have a shit ton of editing workspace, we have everything. We have a 12900K, we have a 3090 Ti, we have a 500 gig M.2 boot drive, we have 2 terabytes M.2 980 Pro just for editing. We have RGB, which is like the #1 factor for like timeline performance. You need that. We have fans from 3 different brands. Great. Even if the numbers are amazing, this is not a gaming PC. It doesn't make a lot of sense to game on here. This thing will run 3 4K monitors. This thing will edit and hopefully real time at full quality. We will see about that. I mean, we are recording raw. So this is going to be amazing. Just as a reference, the cooling is working very much okay. Of course I would have hoped for a bit better, but the 12900K is an insane monster, and I believe the only way that I can like scale this down a bit, I mean the GPU is fine, nothing to do there, but for the CPU we could have gone with like a 41020 rad. That would have meant a lot more. The thickness of the rad, something like an Arctic Liquid Freezer 420 would have been like the best in slot, I believe. But I mean, this is alright. So I will leave it like this for the next couple of months until that Fantex water block arrives, and then I will go all in and we will exchange everything in here, and it will be going to be freaking amazing. Very good for me that I don't need to take anything out at this point except for the GPU. I will basically leave everything in and just put the water block on, which is going to be very easy for me. So this was the unrestricted 5K Aero editing monster machine. Let's give it a name, the 5K I sold my freaking kidney editing PC. It is an amazing piece of equipment. I can't wait to edit it. I will edit this exact video tomorrow morning on this PC, and it's going to be amazing. So yeah, I guess thank you for joining the ride, and hope to see you in the next one. See you. Bye bye.